Okay, that was a saucer that just zoomed by, and that was a lot lower than even the hologram. That went right close to where I am and practically over my head. And that was a big one. Okay, that was a saucer that just zoomed by, and that was a lot lower than even the hologram. That went right close to where I am and practically over my head. And that was a big one. So they're well aware that I'm filming them anyway. They have marked most of my cameras. 3 out of 4 are marked. This is the only camera left that's not marked, and that's because it's pretty new and I use it sparingly so that I don't give them a chance to mark it up, because once they mark it up they can control it, and I need a new camera. There you could see the orbs, and that's what I thought was a cloud moving in front, but that's not a cloud. It's orbs moving around on the around the circumference of the sphere, or the saucer shape. I don't know exactly what shape it is because I only see one side of it. I assume it's a sphere, but you could see the orbs moving around. And that's what gave me the impression before that it might be cloud in front, but it wasn't. It was the orbs themselves moving around inside the hologram. And there they are right there, moving around. And you could see that that thing is teeming with life. And there are just zillions of them inside that hologram. And there are even more of them in our own atmosphere, just spread out all over. And they're on the ground, in the water, in the air, every place. They're just sparking up at the dusk. You can really see them. Also at dawn. They're visible at dusk and dawn. They're at a 12-hour cycle, it seems, because they're living organisms. Just look at all those orbs. And you can see now that the thing is trying to keep a hover, because it's jerking around, and it shouldn't be doing that. If it was a celestial body, it wouldn't be jerking around like that. It would just move very smooth. And you can see how many orbs are in the air all around it right there, because that's what those things are that are moving around. I'll just move it over here on this side to show you this side. Look how many orbs there are in the air. Now they're all either going to the hologram or leaving the hologram, or they're just in the air doing their thing. Look how many. That's what's in the air. Okay, so it's not coming. I have to go back to it. Sometimes it moves, then it stops and it doesn't go anywhere, and then it moves fast. You can really see the orbs in the air, and that's what's happening on the hologram itself. I'll back up a little bit. It's so bright that you can hardly make out anything inside, and the reason for that is because they don't want us to know what's inside and what they're doing inside. but that is definitely not the moon. So I'm going to just back off to see how the cloud situation is. Let's see where it is at the building. Okay, it's moved over quite a bit, and the clouds are still behind it. And it's so bright that it's hard to see them. I'm at no zoom right now, and it's moved over more west. Okay, but you can see the clouds right now, and they're behind it and above it. But the thing is just glowing so bright, it's trying to hide the fact that there are clouds behind and above it. And you can see that the air is just steaming with those organisms. Look at how bright. And I can see that happening with my eyes. I don't need a camera. You see how it's powering up? That is not lens flare. That's the thing actually doing that. Look at that. It doubled in size. Okay, tell me the last time you saw the moon do that. Okay, I want to know when was the last time you saw the moon do that. Just ask yourself, what's wrong with this picture? And why is that thing so low right above our heads? And it's a battle station. Just look at that. They know what I'm talking about. Every time I say something about them, they spark it up and make it glow even more so that I can't see any of the clouds. You see that? Just look at that. Tell me that's the moon. And I'll look up somebody to help you. The whole thing is insane. The whole thing. It just makes no sense whatsoever. I mean, look at that. How many times that thing is trying to power up and glow even more just to hide the fact that there are clouds behind it. All that energy just for me. I can't believe it. You know, it was a lot cheaper for me to buy the camera than the energy that they're expending just to keep me from seeing them. Okay, now I have no zoom on. Look at the shape of it. That's its real shape. You can see with no zoom on, it's doing the same thing. I can see it with my eyes. Okay, so this proves it once and for all that the thing is low in our atmosphere. It's some sort of ship. I say it's an orb ship, and it's a holographic image of the moon. You know, you can have your own idea of what it is. This is the evidence that it's powering up and maintaining a hover, and it's trying to block the view so that I can't show that there are clouds behind it by making itself so bright, and I can't film anything on it because look, look how bright it is. Look, is that the moon, you know? I mean, that's insane how bright it is. I'll just show it all over. Look, everywhere. The whole thing is like just super bright. Look how bright it is all over. Now you can really see the orbs. Watch right above. Now that's how many orbs are going in and coming off of it. And they're counter rotating around axes of clusters real fast, and the whole atmosphere on Earth and all the air we breathe is filled with these organisms, whether they're big sizes like that are visible, or microscopic and smaller than atoms that we breathe in and consume with food and water that we can't even see. It's all the same thing. They're all the same type of organism, and all of them are intelligent. They're either very intelligent or they're being controlled by someone who's very intelligent and has total control over them. So one way or another, there's a high degree of intelligence behind the entire thing. And to make this thing so bright, that also requires a lot of energy. I don't know who's got that much power to burn like these things, but I mean, look how bright it is. Hold on, let me just get it in the picture. Just look at how bright that is. It's twice as bright as yesterday. And it was also 45 degrees off course to toward the west at the same time as yesterday. So those are big changes, and they make no sense to me. And another thing that doesn't make sense to me is how bright it is, and how close it is, that there are clouds going behind it and on top of it, and that there are saucers going off of it or landing on it. I've captured all of those things. And for anyone to say now that this is the moon and it's still there would be pretty crazy, because that's not the case. And I've proven it over and over 1,000 times already. So I can't go by those kind of thoughts, because I see it for myself and I know that this is not the moon. I don't care what it seems to look like. The point is where it is, what it's doing, how bright it is, how it's traveling across the sky, when does it show up, what path does the orbit take, and whether or not there are clouds behind it and above it. So all those facts say this is not the moon, because they're all happening, and there are clouds behind it. It's way too bright. It doesn't show up where it's supposed to be. It changes course in just a day by 45 degrees. It jerks around in its movement back and forth and up and down in all four directions, and the whole thing just doesn't make any sense. So I just cannot understand why people would still call this the moon, only because it looks like the moon, and that's not a good enough reason for me. Okay, that's not a good enough reason for me, that because something looks like something, that's what it is. That just doesn't cut it. Just look at how bright it is. I'm going to go closer. So these things must be watching YouTube, because every time I put on a video, they respond by making a correction one way or another. Tonight the correction was to move it someplace else, 45 degrees off course, and to increase the intensity of the light so that I can't see anything on it, or even the clouds that are above and behind it. So those were the corrections for tonight. Also, they've managed to get the hover down a little smoother than last night, but still all those things tell me just one thing: these things are intelligent and they're watching YouTube, especially my channel, so they're concerned, otherwise they wouldn't be changing anything. And that thing just keeps getting brighter and brighter. It's just amazing how bright it is. That never used to be the case. Never. The moon image was that bright. There were always parts that were not as bright as others. Now the entire thing is just bright. Period. I'm at 50 minutes. I will not go over an hour. I'll do the same thing like last night. I'll cut this into 3 or 4 parts and show it that way. So I'm going to take a look at the top. I didn't look at that last night. It's too bright. I can't see anything. Let's see the bottom. That's too bright too. And you just can't see anything. It's so intensely bright that it's impossible to see anything from up close. Even from far away like this, it's definitely hard to see anything. I'm just going to back off, see if I can catch any saucers coming off of it. Okay, now I'm pretty much backed off right now. I'm almost at no zoom, and this thing is just brilliant. That's how bright it is. It's brilliant, and it looks like that with the naked eye as well. I'll just go back. See the cloud situation. It's going to go out of sight for me because it's going to go over the building where I'm at, and then I won't be able to film it. It's too bright right now to see any clouds, and that's what they were powering up to do. And that's really what that thing looks like, the shape you see right now. It's not round. But it looks like that. Just look at how bright that whole thing is. Doesn't matter where I put the camera, it's so bright you can't see anything else. So that's a ship. No matter which way you look at it, this is a ship, and it's not the moon. It's a definite ship of some sort, and I say it's an orb ship made of orbs, and it's a living ship, and that's not made from metal, even though these things can turn themselves into any type of matter. This is the form they choose to have on their ship, and it seems to be organic because they're alive and moving. I don't know if they're breeding, I don't know if they require breeding, but they're alive and moving, and there's a whole bunch of them. And if I go any closer, you can see it's so bright. It's hard to see, I know, but you could just see them. All the little spheres there zipping around. There's zillions of them. You can't even count them with a supercomputer, how many of them there are. And the other part of that story is There's a whole lot more in our atmosphere and on the Earth itself, both on the ground and in the water and in the air, all over, on everything and on everybody. And just look at how bright it is. So they're in their organic form, and the entire ship that looks like the moon used to look like is organic, at least at this point. And also it's a hologram, because what they're doing is just representing the image of the moon. There are some clouds that have just come in, and there's one cloud actually that's a lenticular cloud passing right in front. I'll try and show that from far away, if I can see it. The thing is so bright you can't even see it. It's just way too bright. The only way you can see it is from closer. So that was the only cloud that went past it in 1 hour. And it's good, because I'm just going to film for an hour anyway. I can't film it when there are clouds in front of it, only when they're behind it. But that was the only cloud in 1 hour that went in front. All the rest have gone behind it. Just to give you an idea of what's on there, if you can see anything at all. The thing has become 10 times brighter than when I first started filming tonight. It's now 10 times brighter. It's amazing how much energy they're expending to hide what's on it. I'm sure they're not very happy with me, because I must be costing them a whole lot in energy. I don't know about money, but for sure in energy. They've done just about everything to hide the fact that it's really a ship. So I'm at 58 minutes. I'll go 2 more minutes, and then I'll wrap it up. Like I said I was going to do an hour, and that's what I'm going to do, an hour. I'll break this up into a couple of parts so that people can watch it in shorter segments, because I don't know how many people have an hour to watch a video. Everybody's busy these days. But this is something that you should check out because it concerns you. This is your planet, and this thing does not belong on this planet. This is not a natural satellite. Okay, I'm at 59 minutes about. Just a little bit more, 1 more minute, and then I'll turn off the camera. Just to see the movement one more time. See if it jerks around. Okay, it's coming to 1 hour I should say. So I'm at 1 hour. Just one more quick look at the whole thing. Okay, it's much brighter than yesterday, and my battery's gonna go. I just got the signal my battery's gonna go, and it's too bright to show any more clouds behind it, and that's the purpose of it powering up like that. It powered up to the point where now it's so bright you can't see anything else, and that's what it's been doing for a long time now. And you can see the same thing happening with your own eyes. You don't need a camera to show that I am at no zoom right now, and it's just about to go over the building where I'm at, and I wouldn't be able to film it much longer anyway, but my battery is going to go in a minute or two. I'm just going to let the battery run out and film it as long as I can, since it's only going to be another couple of minutes, and it'll be just about an hour. Maybe I'll catch a saucer or two coming off. It's so bright that you can't even see anything. Just want to see what's there. Yeah, those are large orbs, and they're also ships too. They can take off and go someplace else. So it's like a battle station with lots of ships, and those go around and take care of things probably in our solar system, maybe even farther out. But they definitely keep an eye on us down here because they're so low in the sky. They can see everything, and that's a perfect spot. If you're going to keep an eye on somebody, that's a perfect way to do it. So, being that they have all that technology and everything, and are really smart, they know everything that goes on. And it is not our moon, it's not a natural satellite or anything like that. So I'll just let the battery run out. It should run out any second. I can even tell that those structures there have been rearranged since yesterday, because I watch closely how they're arranged, and they've been rearranged right there and right here and also right here. They're not the same as yesterday, and you can check the video from yesterday, and also these orbs here are not in the same places. So they changed them around. It's never really the same. They keep changing it back and forth, or whatever way they need the orbs. And then those are orb clusters, not orbs. There is no single orb that I've ever seen. Every one of them has been an orb cluster. And the entire image, the moon hologram, is an orb cluster. And it's a ship, and it's not a natural satellite. And it's so bright right now that you can't see anything on it. but they've changed that area since last night. Right there around the middle, they've changed it. Just want to see if I can see what is that. That part right there has been rearranged. It wasn't like that just last night. So I don't know what that is. Some kind of a